Welcome back, everyone, to another terrifying true story. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more spine-chilling tales. Today, we're diving into the true horrifying story of Veronica and the Ouija board incident that still haunts people to this day. Buckle up, because this one is not for the faint of heart. It all began in Madrid, Spain in 1991. Veronica, a 15-year-old girl, was just like any other teenager, curious about the supernatural, especially after the recent death of her father. One afternoon, she and two of her friends decided to play with a Ouija board at school during an eclipse, believing that the mystical alignment of the sun and the moon would heighten their connection to the spirit world. Little did they know, this innocent game would open the door to something dark and uncontrollable. As they sat in a darkened room surrounded by candles, the planchette began to move. At first it was slow, almost hesitant, but soon it picked up speed. The board spelled out something strange. It wasn't just any spirit, Veronica's father, or so they thought. As the girls asked more questions, Veronica started to feel uneasy. The air around her grew thick and heavy. She couldn't breathe properly, and the planchette shot across the board, spelling out a single word: death. Suddenly, Veronica screamed, and the candles blew out. The girls were terrified, but the real horror was only beginning. They quickly packed up the board, but Veronica seemed different, changed. She was pale, her eyes wide with fear. She felt a dark presence following her home that night, and she couldn't shake the feeling that something had attached itself to her. Days passed, and strange things started happening in Veronica's home. Objects moved on their own. She heard whispers at night calling her name, and most terrifyingly, she felt as if someone or something was watching her every move. At first, her family thought it was just the stress of her father's death. But soon, they too experienced the unexplainable. Her younger siblings woke up in the middle of the night to see shadowy figures standing at the foot of their beds, and doors slammed shut on their own. Veronica's mental state began to deteriorate. She saw dark figures in the mirrors, and her dreams were filled with terrifying images of a malevolent spirit. She tried to reach out for help, first to her friends, but they were too scared to even talk about what happened that day. Her mother, skeptical of Veronica's claims, dismissed it as a cry for attention. Desperate, Veronica turned to the same Ouija board that had started it all. She thought maybe, just maybe, she could end it. But this time, the board wasn't playing a game. As Veronica asked the spirit to leave her, the planchette flew across the board, spelling out the same haunting message as before: death. In that moment, something snapped inside Veronica. She screamed as an invisible force pulled her across the room, leaving her paralyzed with fear. Her siblings rushed to her side, only to witness her being choked by an unseen entity. They screamed for their mother, who rushed in to find Veronica gasping for air. The family immediately called for a priest, but by the time he arrived, it was too late. On July 14th, 1991, Veronica was found dead in her room under mysterious circumstances. No one could explain what had happened to her. There were no signs of foul play and no medical explanation for her sudden death. But her friends and family knew something had followed her from that Ouija board session, something dark and evil. This tragic event inspired the 2017 horror film Veronica. But what most people don't realize is that the movie is based on a very real and very disturbing case. The police report from the night of Veronica's death is one of the most terrifying in Madrid's history. It details unexplained phenomena in her home, including doors opening and closing on their own, strange sounds, and a heavy, oppressive atmosphere that left even the officers shaken. Even today, many who visit her former home claim to feel the same dark presence that haunted Veronica until her final breath. Her story stands as a warning to anyone who dares to play with forces beyond their understanding. Sometimes you invite more than just spirits, you invite pure evil. Thanks for watching, and remember, be careful what you mess with, especially when it comes to the paranormal. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more terrifying tales like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one.